Baltic is a brand that was founded in 2016 and some people cannot stop talking about, whereas others may not have heard about the brand. Etienne Malek is the creator of the brand, and he based his inspirations on his father's love for travelling, and his dad used to keep track of all the various timepieces he came across on his travels. So I think that's quite a nice reason to start a brand like this. Now, Baltic are what's known as a micro brand, which means by definition their watches should only be recognised by a niche community. However, I found that by talking to other watch enthusiasts and friends alike, there is one watch that stands out from the crowd, and for any watch brand trying to make a name for itself in today's competitive climate, this alone is an amazing feat. And that watch is the Baltic MR01. Now, right off the bat, this watch has an interesting design language. Baltic have chosen this unusual but attractive off-centered seconds dial, replacing the 7 and 8 indices in order to avoid any overcrowding and to draw attention to the obvious design choice. There's something extremely pleasing about the position of the seconds dial. It shouldn't really work, but it just does. You won't miss the 7 and 8 indices though, because the Breguet Arabic raised style of the remaining numbers will draw you in. The numbers are large and polished, and although this watch has a 36mm case size, the dial feels very spacious. This undoubtedly has a lot to do with the textured dial finishing, which adds depth and lightly scatters the light in different directions. This means you'll probably be looking at the dial for longer than you'd expect, so hats off to Baltic. The case has a mix of brushed and polished surfaces, with the sides of the case being the former and the front-facing surfaces being the latter. Along with the polished handset and numerals, this is a rather shiny dress watch. But if you choose to opt out of the steel bracelet, you'll find a nice balance with the strap. I'd just be careful doing any physical lifting or heavy tasks in this watch, because it probably is a bit of a scratch magnet, and I doubt you want scratches all over this gorgeous timepiece. With this watch being marketed as unisex, you can see why 36mm is the case size of choice. And for my smaller wrist, this watch sits very comfortably. I welcome smaller watches in my collection as long as they make a statement, and this watch is no exception. 36mm might present some larger wrists with an issue, however, but I would recommend giving it a go, as this watch has such a charm to it that might sway your decision. This watch has a really lovely thickness of just under 10mm with a lug-to-lug of 44mm. The glass is a high-domed Hesselite crystal, which isn't the strongest material you can use. But if it's still good enough for Omega, surely it's good enough for a dress watch. This watch comes with a 30-meter water resistance, which is adequate for a watch of this nature. When you turn this watch over, you're greeted by a nicely decorated 4Hz Hangzhou micro rotor caliber. And this of course is seen through a lovely display case back. Hangzhou is a Chinese producer of movements, and for the price of these movements, the finishing is rather impressive. The blued screws are well executed, as are the visible jewels, and the gold-coloured micro rotor is signed by Baltic. The finishing goes even further, with Geneva-style waves and circling throughout the movement. Baltic aren't hiding the producer of this movement either with a cover name, rather simply stating the movement and where it's from, confident in their decision of where these are sourced from. Now, I'd actually go to say that this movement is one of the best features of this watch. It's such a joy to see such a well-decorated, fairly cheap movement in a watch of this price point. Who says you have to spend over $1,000 to have a watch with an open case back and a movement this pretty? In this instance, you certainly don't have to. Now, this watch, brand new, will cost you between $500 and $600, depending on where you source it, and that is, well, exceptional. You might even find it hard to buy one, as they are known to be in high demand. What this watch really offers for the price is quality, style, and a brand that really know how to push the boundaries when it comes to creating a watch with a limited budget. I mean, let's be honest, Baltic could have charged a little bit more for this watch, maybe $800, $900, maybe even close to $1,000, but they haven't. And again, that shows confidence. Baltic have had good success in the recent years, going from strength to strength, and 2024 could be a big year for this brand. They've really made a mark on the watch industry with this timepiece, and the brand is now ready to pounce into the mainstream. I think Baltic know that they're onto a winner here with this watch, but it still does only come in that one size of the 36mm. And you know, it's probably quite easy to fall in love with a watch like this. And if you have a wrist size of 7.5 inches, this might be a tricky purchase for you. So hopefully in the future, I'd like to see Baltic introducing different sizes for this watch and maybe other watches in their collection. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you liked this video, please do give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel because that will really help me out, and I'll see you next time.